Leah, welcome to the Verriales.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for these two artworks. Very nice. We are going to talk about these two artworks about the theme of universality. The first one, for us, both of us with Raymond, we find in this artwork a self-portrait. A self-portrait of a woman who knows the good way, the north way, with this boussole to find the good way. What can talk about?
Well, yes. The issue of the self-portrait is very funny to me. It's the reason I laugh is because I'm accused that this is a self-portrait, and I always deny it. But of course, it is. It's not by intention, but it is, I think, natural. I mean, if you need a model, where do you find one? You see your face every day in the mirror. So the intention is not about me personally. So the challenge becomes a universal challenge, obviously the theme, but it's also the challenge to make that work speak about more than, is it a picture of me? That's not my intention. But so the compass becomes very important because true north is that universal desire to know where we are going. And the compass reassures us that we can see the way clearly and that we know where we are. But it's our tool for confidence that if we know where true north is, if we change direction, we can always get back because we have that compass, that tool. And so we felt that it addressed the theme of universality. I think it's something we all want. It's not me. It's we all want that confidence, that reassurance, that tool to always at least get back to true north.
Yeah. And maybe this reassurance is also with the wood material, who is the basis of the artwork.
There's something intuitive about having those wood bases and having that rough, beautiful piece of wood. I think you can define that in so many ways. You can make it a connection back to the earth. You can make it always, of course, a connection back to nature. But I have to admit that it's not designed so much as it's intuitive, that this piece needed that. And when we put it on that, it was just perfect. It was just right.
Just right.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the second artwork.
Yes.
Second artwork about the wisdom. You have a reinterpretation of the wisdom with two figures actually no, like I don't want to hear, like I don't want to talk, but the third one is I don't want to see, I see, and maybe I protect myself. What you can talk about this?
Well, this was a piece that we actually made a few years ago, and we were thinking a lot about this common way we think of teaching. It's a very common in cultures throughout the world. So this idea of speak no evil, see no evil, and hear no evil. And we began to think about what could that meaning be for all of them? Is it always the same? And so the more we thought about it, Steve and I actually had a little bit different interpretation when we sat down and talked. And so we felt that this piece was really perfect for this universality theme because it's a universal teaching. But we wondered, does it mean the same thing every time they teach? So for Steve, the idea of see no, speak no, and hear no is a way of personal responsibility, expressing personal responsibility. And he sees it as don't be evil, don't give evil, don't say evil. And he sees that as a as a positive message, a positive teaching for personal responsibility. I looked at it a little bit differently, which surprised me a little bit. I can see it also as almost like hiding from those things. That if you don't see those things, then you don't have to take responsibility for them.
Yeah.
And so I think then it became a very interesting concept that you could take that teaching and see it in two completely opposite ways, which again brought us to the theme that isn't that what we see universally? That we all look at something and we are looking exactly at the same spot, and we have two different stories, two different interpretations. And so I think that the realization of that piece with the expectation of these gestures reveals the different way that we're coming to the piece. It's not exactly as you expect. You get a little bit of Steve's interpretation and you get a little bit of my interpretation.
Yeah. And of course, our interpretation
comes into it as well.
Yes, and when we saw this artwork, for my opinion, I think to Me Too exploitation with the opinion, the American opinion on the woman right and on the woman action, and maybe we can see in this third part this way of how to say that denunciation of some fact.
You know, I think that for me, sculpting women is just intuitive, and Steve and I don't necessarily think very much about should it be a woman or a man. I just think it's intuitive. You know, I'm really I have to honestly say that I'm not trying to push forward a feminine or a feminist idea or opinion. It's just intuitive. It's a form I know, and it's a form he loves. so it's more intuitive, and I don't really think, especially if we're talking about the universal theme, universal means all of us. Gender should not be an issue, really, when we talk about it. And so, for me, it's just my intuitive way to make the point, but it's not about being feminine or masculine or no. It's when I sit down to sculpt, it's what I see and it's what happens.